So this is going to be a tier list for classic mode, not for endless. It's just going to be going through pretty much every item that you can get in classic mode, and we're going to just tier them based on how good they are. Let's just jump straight into it. So these are the tiers. We've got S tier, which is just take these no matter what. This is just going to be stuff that's like absolutely broken, amazing. You would never overlook it. Stuff like the mini black hole. Spoilers, in fact. There you go. A tier, always strong, situationally broken. This is stuff that you're always going to probably take over the basic things like vitamins and Pokeballs and X items and things like that, because they've got a really good niche, or they just change the way that you're going to play the game. You know, just like really strong items, stuff that it can be strong on any Pokemon, not just on very specific Pokemon. Or if you put it on a specific Pokemon, then it's just absolutely broken. Once we start moving things into the tiers, then hopefully these will start to make sense. B is just, you know, your good stuff. C is probably just going to be things like Pokeballs, potions, ethers, things that you just take as and when you need, and it's your own judgment basically is going to decide whether they're good or bad. D is things that are not good or that are situationally bad, so you might take them thinking that they're decent, but then actually by the end of the run you're thinking that was absolutely useless. I don't know why I took it. I wish I hadn't taken it. It actually made the whole run harder. E is the trash, sewage, garbage tier, energy ball, jellicent, Somalia tier. Just absolute trash. I need to change the colour of it. Let's make it blue. Just stuff that sucks. And F is for things that I think people take thinking that they're going to be really good, and then they actually end up making the run even harder. So let's just jump straight into it. The first thing is, that's the ability charm, isn't it? Not the shiny charm. That's the shiny charm. So ability charm, I am going to put this in the not good, situationally bad tier. If you're hunting for Pokemon with a certain ability, then yes, take it. But that's not what this tier list is for. This tier list is for you're trying to beat classic mode. So you don't want this because it's going to throw you off when you're going through waves. You're going to be facing a certain Pokemon, and just because, you know, you're just running through it as quickly as you can, not really paying attention, you maybe just assume that it's something, I don't know, like that has like Flash Fire or something. But then you hit it and it's actually got Levitate. So don't take this if you're trying to win. Just like start an endless run, get one there if you want to go hunting or just hatch eggs. There's plenty of ways to find hidden abilities. You don't need this, it sucks. Amulet Coin. Amulet Coin. I don't think it's good enough for S, but it's obviously A. So gold is power in this game. The more gold you have, the more options you have. You can tank more hits because you can heal more with potions. So Amulet Coin's always good. It can stack. You get it early on. It would just make the run so much easier. You can afford to have Pokemon take KOs and revive them. If you don't have anything throughout a run that gives you excess gold, you will notice it. So you do want things like Amulet Coin, Golden Punch, abilities like Honey Gather, things like that. They're always strong. You would always want them over something less good. Berry Pouch. This got nerfed recently, but I actually don't remember what the nerf was. I know it's mainly geared towards endless. It's to do with how many berries you can hold, right? I don't know, look it up. I know that's not ideal, but I'm not going to go sort of sifting through all the patch notes and stuff to find out. It's strong anyway. I don't think it's much weaker than it was before. And what it did before was, I think it's like a 30% chance that the berry that you consume doesn't get used up and you can use it again. So Berry Pouch is always strong. It will mean that you get more use out of your berries, which is great. Candy Jar. Candy Jar's good. Might even be A tier. I think it is A tier. So Candy Jar, you get a rare candy, and instead of increasing by one level, for each candy jar you've got, it raises it a additional level. So you got one candy jar, a rare candy is 2 levels. You got 2 candy jars, rare candy is 3 levels. This is good because on their own, rare candies aren't as good as people seem to think they are. But if you can stack candy jars up, then getting one rare candy that, for example, raises you by 4 levels can be great. I'll say rare candies, in fact, When we get to rare candies, I'll explain my thoughts on rare candies, because I do have a pretty strong opinion on why they're not that great. This is direct hit, which I've separated from the other X items. Let's do the other X items first, actually. So this is just X attack, X special defense, blah blah blah, X speed. I will put those in good. They go in good because they're just a straight up stat boost. And once you know what waves you're going to be running into the hard battles on, what you can do is, for the 5 waves before that battle, you can just re-roll for X items and it will make the battle just so much easier. So you take them in like wave 190 for the 195 fight. As you're going through the normal waves, like say you're on wave 100 or whatever, you probably won't notice them that much, because at that point you've probably just got one strong sweeper Pokemon that really doesn't need that many buffs. Or it's got Sword Stance or Dragon Dance or something and it can boost itself. They're still decent. I'd still take them if you find that you're struggling to one-hit KO things. But specifically for those fights before the rival fights and before 200, they are really strong. And I would always re-roll for them if you don't see anything that's more immediately enticing. The reason I've separated direct hit is because direct hit is probably situationally broken during the Eternatus fight, because if you can stack say 2 direct hits, you can just absolutely decimate Eternatus through all of the buffs that it does for like cosmic power and the stat increases it gets when you destroy a bar. Critical hits are just amazing. This is situationally broken. It's not always strong. I wouldn't take them at any other point except maybe before the 195 fight. In fact, they're not A tier, are they? They're still niche strong. But I just thought I'd specifically talk about that. You might get to wave 200 and be a bit doubtful about your strategy for killing Eternatus, which hopefully you have a strategy by that point. And if you are a bit worried and maybe your strategy is just like spamming Earthquake or something, take some direct hits and you will probably get lucky. Try it out. It's better than you think. This might be controversial, but the DNA Splicer is sewage garbage tier. It's trash. It's so situational that you're going to have the perfect Pokemon in Classic to splice together, that I just think that there's very rarely a situation where you're going to think, oh god, I wish I had the DNA Splicer. Maybe it's like situationally decent, but it's not that good that I'd put it up here. So the reason I'm putting it in trash is because I think it's a master tier item, and if I get a master tier item roll in Classic, and you're not going to have a Lock Capsule in Classic. Where's Lock Capsule? Here. You're probably not going to have that because it sucks in Classic. If I get a master tier item and it's DNA Splicer, I'm pissed off because I'd rather it was something good. So it's going down here. Yeah, like maybe 1 in 100 runs, you're going to find that you've got like a Tinkerton and you can splice it with something to just break the game. But most of the time, that's not going to happen. So it sucks. What is this? Is this Dynamax? I think this is the Dynamax Band, isn't it? Dynamax Band is the same. Honestly, you take it and you start thinking, oh yeah, I can get this Pokemon Dynamaxed and it's going to be amazing. And then 40 waves later, you have had no, whatever it is it like the max mushrooms? You just get none of them roll. I've never actually rolled a Dynamax Pokemon. It's just so rare that it gets pulled off because you have to roll this, right? And then you have to roll the max shrooms. And you have to be on a run where you get a Pokemon that's going to be good Dynamaxed. I know they're all better Dynamaxed, but you know what I mean, like a special one, like that big lanky skinny Meowth thing, or the fat Pikachu, or the Snorlax with the tree on it. The experience share is this. It's the one that balances out. It gives experience to lower level Pokemon. It gives them a higher amount of your experience than it gives to your higher Pokemon. This is, I don't know if it's a trap because I'm not entirely sure on the mechanics. I think it might be, but I'm going to put it here to be safe. It's trash because most of the time what happens in Classic is at most you probably have 5 Pokemon that are integral to your strategy. You'll have like your main 1 or 2 sweepers that you just tear through everything with. You'll have your Pokemon that you need specifically to beat the 195 fight, to beat Ray or to beat Eternatus, and then you'll just have like some good coverage. And then you may have a 6th Pokemon that you you use that slot to just catch different things as you're going through your run and add them to your team. And you don't really need that Pokemon and it's under-leveled, and all your experience starts getting sucked towards that Pokemon because you picked up this item, and you find the rest of your team is leveling slightly slower. So it's kind of a trap, to be honest. I'm not putting it in trap because I don't know if this also gives the same experience boost as Experience All. If it gives you an extra like 20% experience, then it's probably higher up here. If it literally just balances your XP out towards the lower Pokemon, then it's here. So to be safe, I'm just going to stick it there. Potions go in C because... that's not a potion, that's an ether. Ethers go in C for the same reason as potions. Where is potion? This is just completely at your discretion whether these are going to be good items at the time. You have to use your own judgment. Say you're going through the Elite Four battles on like wave 180, and I don't know, you finish with like 3 Giga Drain PP out of the 10, then take the ether, or don't take the ether, it's up to you. But it's there if you want it because it's a shop item, so it's just take it as needed. The experience charms go in S tier. Keeping up in experience in levels is integral to the run, so you want those just to make your life easier. And the fact that they spread across all of your team as well is really important, because the best way to get through Classic or Endless is to just have 1, maybe 2 really strong Pokemon that you just sweep everything with. It'll just make your life much easier, and it'll make the run go quicker. So you might have some Pokemon that you very rarely use. You only use them for the rival battles or tough gym leader battles, and they're going to get underleveled if you don't have a few of these. So you want to just grab them to balance your team. Same goes for Experience All. You just take that no matter what. It's a flat, I think it's a 20% boost, and they stack, and it will spread across your team as well. So yeah, you want those every single time. Stack them up to 5 immediately, and the run will... you won't even need rare candies if you've got enough of these. Focus Band it's good. It's obviously situationally broken 10% of the time when it activates, but 10% is 10%. It's a 10% chance to survive a fatal blow. I almost want to put it in A because I'd probably always take it. Hey, Pickles. Yeah, let's put it in A, because I would always take it, because just that chance to survive, like a fatal blow from Eternatus or something, can just swing the fight. It can swing any fight when it activates, and they stack as well. So if you get a couple of them, like I've had an endless run where I think I've had like 4 or 5 of them on my main Pokemon. And if you're not getting KO'd, it's saving you money as well. And as we said earlier, money is power, so I'd take that. I'd take Focus Band over pretty much anything else, except for these. Golden Punch it's a money item, so as we spoke about before with the relics and the Amulet Gold, always strong. Put it on your main sweeper and you will probably not have any money issues for the rest of your run. Grip Claw is S tier, I think. No, it's probably A tier. In Endless it would be S tier, in Classic it's A tier. Only because you don't run into Pokemon with that many amazing items to steal. If you see a Pokemon with a lucky egg, then you probably just want to catch it to be safer. Which is another reason, by the way, why you only run 5 Pokemon on a normal Classic run. Because the 6 Pokemon, what you can do is you can just keep catching Pokemon that you see with lucky eggs. They go into your 6th slot. You transfer the items to your good Pokemon, and then you just rinse and repeat. Just keep catching lucky Eggmons. So the reason Grip Claw is only A tier is because stealing items is amazing. It's fun to get like just all the berries off of Pokemon and stuff. But the activation is not as often as you would think in Classic compared to Endless, where maybe you've got something that's got a multi-lens. Or you can stack the Grip Claws. You have more waves to build up your items in Endless. In Classic, this is going to activate a couple of times, and it's going to be fun when it does. So yeah, it's always strong. It can be broken if you steal something amazing, but most of the time it's just fun. I don't know if you can hear Pickles, but she's like right next to the microphone and she's purring. Okay, shoo. The Healing Charm is... Pickles, do you want to sit on me? Do you want to sit here? No, you can't go there. That's where the microphone is. Go on the beanbag. Healing Charm is, I want to say, A tier. Might be S tier. Let me talk about it for a bit and then I'll decide. So Healing Charm's great because it activates on moves like Drain Punch and Giga Drain, and it just makes them stronger, the heal on them stronger. And keeping at higher health throughout your run through passive effects like moves that steal health saves you loads of money on buying things like Hyper Potions. So for that reason, because it saves you money and because it makes battles easier, and because it actually activates on so many different things as well, I might put it in S tier. I guess it's A tier because it's situational, right? Because you have to have Pokemon with the right moves to make use of it. And it activates on items as well, but most of the time when you're buying potions, you're overhealing anyway. We'll stick it in A tier just because I guess it's situationally broken, isn't it? King's Rock is going in S tier. It's amazing. And the reason it is amazing is because you stick it on your fastest, strongest sweeper and you just flinch stuff. And it can stack. And you can do things like you can combine it with a multi-lens and you're attacking multiple times and then you're getting more chances to flinch. So if you put it on something fast and strong, something with like a multi-hit move or with a multi-lens, or just get lucky, you can just flinch everything to death, which is amazing. Why would you not want to do that? And it's good on any Pokemon because so many, well, not any Pokemon, but most Pokemon that just physically attack, you can cause stuff to flinch. So just take it and do it, and you'll be satisfied when it happens. The vitamins might be S tier. No, they're not S tier because you wouldn't take them over these. They are A tier. They're A tier because you can take a Pokemon that would be like underused in competitive, and you can just buff the shit out of it with vitamins. Say you give it like, what did I use that time? I think I had like a Whiskash with like 4 HP ups stacked, which is like a 40% health boost, and it had like 700, 800 HP, and he was so tanky and he was cute. And you can do things like that with vitamins. You can just hyper buff your Pokemon. So I don't know, say you're doing like a monotype run. On my last run, what did I do? Mono ground. I had a Toad Squirrel, and my plan was that I was going to Earth Power Eternatus with it, but I was worried about dying to Flamethrower. So throughout the run, I just started sticking the Special Defense Vitamin on it. And I think by the time I got to Eternatus, it had like 600 or 700 special defense, and it could tank hits against the final boss. And it was all vitamins. It was tanking super effective hits. So these are just passively amazing. You will notice once they start to stack. So you should probably just always take them if you've got a Pokemon that makes use of that stat. Leftovers. First controversial opinion, maybe. It's a trap. You should never take them, ever. Why? Because of the mini black hole on Eternatus. If Eternatus gets your leftovers, then it just makes the fight not impossible, but it makes it really difficult because it's going to be healing every turn, and it heals for a lot. So Eternatus gets really tanky really fast, and you can actually find yourself getting into situations where you can't kill it because it stole your leftovers. The reward doesn't outweigh that risk with leftovers. You probably aren't really going to notice them unless you've got a really, really slow stall team. You just won't notice them because you'll be killing things throughout the normal run really fast, and when stuff gets low at the end of the fight, you don't leave it and hope that leftovers heals it. You just stick potions on it and get it back to full health. So leftovers, you don't really see that much benefit from them throughout a run. And then in the final fight, they can break the final fight not in your favor. So just don't take them and don't let that happen to you. I've separated a few of the berries for certain reasons to do with the Eternatus fight. So this is Leppa Berry specifically, which gives you your power points back when a move's depleted. And I'm going to stick it in OK because you need to make a judgment call when you take them if you're actually going to see them activate when you need them. So I don't know, say you're going through a run, and again going back to my last run, the ground run, I had Excadrill with Earthquake, which is 10 PP, and if I'm solely using Excadrill to clear waves, then I'm probably going to run out of Earthquake by the end of the wave. I'm probably going to use it more than 10 times. So Leppa Berries are good, right? But then you get to the Eternatus fight, and one way that you can actually beat Eternatus is to PP stall it, because I think Eterna Beam has got like 5 PP, right? All its moves are powerful but low power points. So if you can avoid it stealing your Leppa Berries, it can actually just run out of PP of powerful moves, and then you can wall it and you can take it down in your own time. So for that reason, what I would say is that, yeah, sure, take some Leppa Berries throughout the run, but plan to have depleted them by the time you get to like 195, 200, the last 10 waves. Then you can just stop a lot of these items like leftovers, and they're bad because they can be stolen by the final boss. Things like vitamins, right? They can't be stolen by the final boss. And other things like, Golden Punch, like these, it doesn't matter if they get stolen. If someone steals your Golden Punch in the last run, like, you don't care because you don't need any more gold. So like, that's why some of these are separated like this. So Leppa Berry, just be careful, just think about it, why you're taking it, and if you're actually going to take use from it or if you're just being greedy. Same goes for Lum Berry, which I've also separated, which is amazing throughout your run. But again, if you get to the Eternatus fight and you've got like Toad Scroll again with Spore, you can just put Eternatus to sleep, and then if it doesn't steal your Lum Berries, it's asleep and you can just kill it. But if you've got like 10 Lum Berries on all your Pokemon and it's just constantly stealing them, then you can't beat it with status. And that's your own fault for taking them. So again, like these, just think about why you're taking them and try to only take as many as you need. The link cable, this is just all the evolution items. I've just stacked them together. They are S tier because why would you not want to evolve your Pokemon when you get that item, okay? So you're always going to take it, let's be honest. So like, why wouldn't it be here? It's S tier. Lock Capsule is just trash in Classic because you don't have enough money to be constantly re-rolling in the same way that you do in Endless. Obviously, if this was Endless, it'd be S tier. Like, it's above S tier in Endless. Like, you need it. But for Classic, you are probably just never, ever actually going to use it. You might use it towards the last 20 runs because you've got more money than you know what to do with, but on most runs, you won't have that much money to keep re-rolling. So, it might be D tier, but let's just keep it in E. Magnet is representing all of the type-specific attack boosting items, and it is A tier. Because why wouldn't you want to boost your attack power? And again, they stack, and it's a significant boost as well. 20% extra damage is a lot. You get 2 of these, 3 of these, and it's basically stab, right? I think I got 2 hard stones on my Excadrill, and so its Rock Slide was doing 40% more, which is almost stab, and it's really noticeable. So you can do cool stuff like that as well. You can stack them and essentially give a Pokemon stab on a type that it isn't with a coverage move, which is awesome. So I'd always take these. They're so good. Map is, I want to say it's S tier, because I think I would even take it over experience items if it's early in the run. But not later on in the run, so is it situational? Let's stick it in A then. So if you're early on in the game, always take the map as soon as it comes up, because you can tailor your run to biomes that you want to visit. Maybe you want to go catch a Pokemon in a certain biome. Well, you can do that now because you can choose where you're going to go. Maybe you want to avoid a biome because your team's weak to it. Well, you can do that because you got the map. So the map is awesome. In fact, let's stick it in S. You'll always take it as long as you're like before wave like 120, maybe even a bit higher, you'd still take it. Yeah, it's just amazing because it gives you a bit more agency over where you can go and what you can do throughout the run. Master Ball, this is specifically Master Ball and not the other Pokeballs. Master Ball, in fact, 1 second. Pokeballs just go in C. If you want to catch stuff, take them. If you don't want to catch stuff, don't take them. This represents up to like Ultra Ball. Let's do the other one as well. I'm going to stick Rogue Balls in B rather than C because same reason I'll go into with Master Ball. If you're in trouble in a battle with a wild Pokemon that is going to beat you, throw some Pokeballs at it and just catch it if you can't kill it. So for that reason, Rogue Ball specifically, because it's 3 times more effective. I think Ultra Ball is just 2 times. Like, these have got a pretty good chance of catching stuff. So they can be a bit of a get out of jail free card, and for that reason I'm going to stick them in good. Master Ball, we'll stick in A, because if you aren't running through Classic to catch Pokemon, then you don't really need a Master Ball. You'd rather have some other Master items, but it's 100% catch rate, and you know, you might come up against a shiny that you want, so just throw a Master Ball. It's not S tier because like you take these things over a Master Ball if you're just trying to win the run. It doesn't really help you win the run apart from in that situation that you can just throw it at something that's going to kill you. What is this? Is this the Mega Band, like Mega Bracelet? I'm going to put the Mega Bracelet in good. And I know this is kind of weird because I put Dynamax in trash, but I've actually had this activate like more regularly than Dynamax. It only comes up if you've got a Pokemon that you can Mega Evolve too. So it's worth taking. If you've got a Pokemon like Gengar, just take it and just take the roll, because the other thing is as well, like with the Mega Evolved Pokemon, once they're Mega Evolved, they just stay Mega Evolved, which is way better than stuff like Terrestrialization, which only lasts for, I think, 10 waves. So you're taking this and it's going to do nothing when you take it, so I can't put it any higher. But it's good for just the chance of rolling a Mega Pokemon, because Megas are great. All of the mints to change natures can go in C. The problem with these is that it's such a random chance that you actually get a nature that's going to improve your team, that most of the time something will come up and it'll be like a bashful mint, and it's just pointless. It may as well not roll. So for that reason, when they come up, like, they can be situationally decent, but also most of the time, once you've ran through Classic a few times, or you've like been on a long endless run, you've hatched a lot of eggs, you're probably going to have some decent Pokemon. So it's the longer that you've been playing the game for, the less useful these are. But you know, if one comes up and it's the right one, then take it. Lucky Egg, this shouldn't really be here because you can't actually get the item in the shop. I'm just going to put them in C because they work differently. If you see a Pokemon with a Lucky Egg and you've only got 5 Pokemon that you want to keep, then catch it, because the experience boost that it gives is great. So we could put it up here, but I'm just leaving it here because it's not the same as the other items. You can't actually get it the correct way. You can't get it in the shop. Try and catch Pokemon that have Lucky Eggs, steal their Lucky Eggs, and then you can release the Pokemon or just replace it with the next Pokemon you find with a Lucky Egg. I just wanted to talk about it basically. Just get Lucky Eggs. TMs they're so situational, right? If you get a TM that's a good move like Earthquake or Sword Stance or something that you can use, Waterfall, then it's amazing. But they're just like, they're a lottery, aren't they, if you're going to get the right one. So take them if you get a move that you can use. This vitamin is the PowerPoint up ones, and it's good. It's not as good as these because having more PP is not the same as having 10% more attack or 10% more speed. What is this? Is this Quick Claw? Quick Claw is always strong. I'm going to put it in good, because if you are building your team correctly, your main sweeper is going to be fast and strong, so you're not going to activate Quick Claw that much on your main Pokemon. There's no downside to it, so I would take it if it benefits a slow, tanky Pokemon on your team. The niche is that it could activate on something like Rayquaza and Eternatus and just completely swing the fight for you. So it can be amazing, but you know, like with a lot of items, it's luck based. Rare candies. Let's do these at the same time. So rare candy, the blue one, is good. The reason that they're not as amazing as people like seem to make out, like I see people who just always take rare candies and they're just like, ooh, rare candy, amazing. The reason they're not that great is because a lot of the time, like say early on in the run, you might see a rare candy and you use it on a Pokemon that's like a level 11, and if you don't actually go and check in the summary page how much experience that Pokemon would have needed to level up, you might waste a rare candy on a Pokemon that's like 80 experience away from leveling up. It's just a waste of an item. These get stronger, obviously, the more candy jars you have. I don't think leveling up one level is going to save your run unless it's to evolve your Pokemon for a specific fight. Like, you wouldn't take them over experience items or something, because these are going to be a flat boost to the rest of your run. This is just an instant thing. So yeah, they're decent, they're good, but like a lot of the time you might just be better off taking something else. The rarer candy though, I mean, this is essentially 6 levels, so it's always strong. Like, there's no downside to doing it. The other reason I don't put them higher is because a lot of the time in runs, if you've been taking experience items as and when they come up, you're hitting the level cap before the end of every 10 waves anyway. So there's not that much benefit to going over the level cap anyway, because once you get to the next 10 waves, all that being over the level cap does for you is it means that you're going to hit the level cap again sooner. And you're always going to hit the cap. So taking that rare candy a couple waves ago was kind of pointless. Relic Gold goes in S tier because it's just such a huge boost. Like, dead early on in the run, you probably won't get much out of it, but as the run goes on, this becomes more and more valuable. The flat boost that it gives you to your gold is just amazing. It opens up options to do other things, to heal your Pokemon more, to revive Pokemon and be a bit more reckless with them. So Relic Gold just goes up here. Reviver Seed is A tier. You can use it specifically for strategies for beating Rayquaza or Eternatus with a Pokemon that would normally get one-hit KO'd by them, but I don't know, maybe it's got an ice move and it's really slow like Mamoswine, but you know that if you can hit Rayquaza once with that Pokemon, then you're going to kill it. So you stick a Reviver Seed on it and you sacrifice it into Rayquaza and kill it. So what you want to be doing when you get these is you want to be putting them on a Pokemon that you know is not going to just randomly die in a normal fight, so you can save them for the serious battles like 145, 195, 200. Sacred Ash is basically just potions turned up to 1 million. Take it if all of your team is KO'd. It just revives, it fully revives all fainted Pokemon. It won't fully heal a Pokemon that's not fainted. So if you've just got a load of Pokemon that are low on health, then Hyper Potions, Max Potions is the way to go. Relic Berry. So what I've done here is I've got Staff Berry to represent raising all of the attack-based stats. And then Relic Berry specifically is speed. So Relic Berry goes to B because being able to outspeed something that would otherwise KO you is going to be a lot more useful than just random boosts to your stats. These go in C, like, they're decent. Throughout the run, you'll be happy that you have them. So, like, don't overlook them if there's nothing else to take. But because berries can be stolen, again, you maybe don't want to have loads of those for the final 200 fight. What you want to be doing with your items as you come to wave 200 is you want to be using them up. So berries are fine for the rest of the run, but as you get towards the end of the run, you don't want to have them. Shell Bell is a trap for the same reason that leftovers are a trap. The heal that you get from it is just so situational and it's so minor that it's not going to do a lot to make your run any better. But if you give a Shell Bell to Eternatus, it's going to heal for loads because it hits like a truck. IV Scanner is probably my least favorite item in the game because it adds an extra line of text and a multi-choice option after every battle that just it just lengthens the run because you just have to press more buttons, and it sucks for that reason. I hate it. And you're probably not going to actually use it, because if you see a Pokemon that you want to catch, you just catch it anyway. You don't really care about IVs enough to make this a benefit. IVs will naturally raise themselves if you just catch a bunch of Pokemon. You don't have to scan for them. It's stupid. Sitrus Berry, I can't remember why I split this from the other ones. It's fine. You know, a heal is nice. Early on in a run, a Sitrus Berry can be really helpful against like early gym leaders. Should we put it in good? Because an immediate heal is better than a stat boost, I think. Yeah, it can go in good. Soothe Bell, I'm going to put in... I almost want to put it S tier, but it's probably A tier. It depends how much you value candies. Soothe Bell is pretty good for farming candies. Soothe Bell it's amazing in Endless because, for example, I've got a Endless run that's at like wave 2000, and I think I've got 3 Soothe Bells stacked on Groudon, and I'm just farming candies for it that I otherwise wouldn't be able to get on legendaries without just randomly hatching them or randomly running into them to catch. So for that reason in Endless, it's just amazing because you can get candies on legendaries. It's probably B, isn't it? If you're trying to just win Classic, it's not going to help you at all. But it's just good for farming candies, and for that reason I like it. Soldew it's kind of overrated because if you have the right nature, say you've got Modest on a special attacker, so what it does is it boosts your positively boosted stat from the nature by 10%, but then it also deducts 10% from the negative stat, which can be bad if you've got something that's, I don't know, say like, what's the nature for having like plus defense minus speed? Say you've got something like that, then you don't really want the stat drop to your speed by 10%, but you do want the plus 10% to your defense. Soldew's like, it's fine, it's good, but you'd rather have a vitamin because a vitamin's it's always just a good positive boost, whereas Soldew can possibly have a negative. So it can be good, but most of the time it's not as good as vitamins, which are a lower rarity, or a higher rarity. No, lower rarity. They're more common than Soldew, and vitamins are always better than Soldew. Revive, just, you know, it's fine. It's just revive. If your Pokemon needs reviving, then revive it. The Baton, it's probably B tier because the niche is obviously you need to have Pokemon with stat boost moves to make use of it. If you've got a particularly boosty team, then Baton can be great because what it does is, say I'm Swords Dancing with my Excadrill, and then they switch into something that can one-hit KO my Excadrill, then I can actually just use the Baton to pass those Swords Dance boosts to something that is going to make use of the Swords Dance boost and not die to the attack that they use. So it's good for that reason. The more synergy your team has and the more stat boost teams has, the better and better it gets, because you can just like dance around switch-ins and exploit the AI and break the game. So it might be A tier for that, but you have to build your team around it. And the item doesn't get used up. I thought it got used up the first time I used it, but what it actually does is when you pass this like from Excadrill to, I don't know, Gyarados, then the Baton is then on the second Pokemon. It's on Gyarados. I thought it was getting used up when I've been using it because I didn't check where it had gone. I just thought it was like you use it and it's like consumed and then it uses the move Baton Pass. But no, it actually transfers the item to be used again. So it's stronger than I thought it was. It's pretty good. Egg vouchers are S tier because most of the time, like, isn't everybody just playing this game to get eggs? Isn't that what we are? We're just humble egg merchants. We just want more eggs. You do a classic run with 6 Pokemon that you've not used before to get some eggs. Eggs. We love eggs. Eggs. The Tera Orbs are traps. They fucking suck. You never get the Tera Shard that you want once you've picked this item. And then, like, is this a Tera Shard? I think it is. Then go here too. Well, they're sewage. You never get the Tera Shard that you want. And you never get it for the waves that you want either. It just doesn't happen. It's just so low probability that I just never take this anymore because I know it's not going to do what I expect it to do. It's just a waste. And then I don't know if this is true or if it's just like my understanding of the game might be wrong. Somebody find out for me. But I feel like if you take the Tera Orb, then what you're actually doing is every time the wrong Tera Shard rolls in the shop, that's taking away a slot in the shop that could have been a different item. So for that reason, because it limits your options in the shop, they just suck. They're just terrible. I think, like, how many types is there? Is that 18 types? So you have like a 1 in 18 chance of getting the Tera Shard that you want for each Pokemon. It's just bad. It sucks. This is Toxic Orb and Flame Orb, which have been added recently. They're not good. The point is that you put them on Guts Pokemon, right? So Heracross, Conkeldurr, which is fine, but your health is an important resource in Classic and Endless. Well, in Pokerogue, your health is a resource that you need to manage. Whoops. Most of the time, I'd rather be healthy than have a +1 attack boost. This isn't singles competitive where a Guts boost can change a 2-hit KO into a 1-hit KO. You're going through so many waves of Pokemon that if you're not already one-shotting them, you're probably doing something wrong. So you just don't need this. You just don't need it. Take an X item instead, and then you won't get the downside. Wide Lens is... I'm going to put it in good because its niche is really, really strong. So if you get 3 throughout a run, that's an extra 15% accuracy. Then you can actually start thinking about if you want to take moves like Blizzard and Fire Blast and Thunder. Shiny Charm is S tier because, again, same reason that the Egg Voucher is S tier. This is why we play the game, because we want shiny Pokemon and we want eggs. So take it and you just get more shinies. And finally, this is Multi-Lens and it is S tier because it gives you an extra attack each turn. I know it's a weaker attack, but getting an extra hit and more damage in a single turn is amazing. It can break through Sturdy, it can break through subs. There's no downside to it that I can think of, unless you're like hitting something with like rough skin, I guess. But just the fact that it adds so much damage and it adds the benefits that you get from multi-attacks it's just awesome. In Endless, this is even better because so many Pokemon survive your attacks more in Endless because of things like Sturdy and all of the resists that they get from tokens. That Multi-Lens is sometimes the later on into the run that you get, before you get to like the Metal Burst phase, when you just still need like pure damage. Multi-Lens provides that. But this is Classic, and in Classic it's still amazing. I think I've done a pretty good job there. Let's have a quick glance over and see if there's anything that I'd maybe move. I was thinking about moving Soothe Bell, but that's purely because I'm at the point in my like Pokerogue career that all I want at the moment is candies for unlocking passives. So for that reason, like for me, this is S tier because I just want more candy. But no, I'm not going to move anything. I'm happy with that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you follow that, you will be absolutely fine in Classic. That's the tier list. Enjoy.